done to many groups and individuals. One of the such cases was the Munambam case. The Munambam case came to our notice some time back, and our state president Rajiv Chandrasekharji and the Kerala BJP team came to Delhi, and the matter was brought before me. Then when I had gone through the Munambam case, I was deeply upset. The 600 fishermen, the innocent people, who have paid the money from their hard-earned money, they paid for the land. They have settled everything. They have started paying taxes to the government for the land. And suddenly, the Kerala State Waqf Board decided and declared the Munambam land, 404 acre of valuable land, as the Waqf property. That is how the tragedy of the Munambam came before us, and the people of the country learned about the injustice done to those 600 fishermen. They are farmers, fishermen. They are innocent people. So, looking at such injustices and such pains of the people, Narendra Modi government decided to bring amendment to the present Waqf Act. Without going into the details, first of all, we strike down the Section 40. No authority in India should have this kind of uncontrolled, unprecedented authority to declare any property as Waqf property. This is unconstitutional. So we strike down. Now onwards, such cases like Munambam matter, there will be no arbitrary declaration of any property as Waqf property. The survey commissioner, which worked in tandem with the Waqf boards, have been removed. Now, all the surveys to be conducted by the collector will be fully authorized to assess as per the documentation available with the government records. We have found that it is the survey commissioners, Waqf boards and mutawalis who were working in close coordination, taking care of their personal interest and declaring the land as Waqf properties. From 2013 to 2025, more than 18 lakhs of properties were claimed. And we have realized that if we don't intervene now, then people will start losing their rightful ownership of the land. Remember, once a Waqf means always a Waqf. If we don't change the law, any property declared as a Waqf property cannot be reversed. Permanently it is in the name of Allah and dedicated for the purpose which is mentioned as religious, pious and charitable. So that cannot be reversed. So as a responsible government in the country, we had to take these very important steps. And we passed this act after thorough discussion, and we hope in the future we will not see the case like Munambam issue. Now, referring to some of the points, I want to quickly point out. After removal of the Section 40, we also removed the Waqf by user provision. That means, as per the earlier provision, anybody, any Muslim or any non-Muslim can declare any property as being used by his ancestor for any purpose, or they used to do namaz or some other purpose, without any document, report and claim about that particular portion of the land and declared it as Waqf property through the state Waqf boards. Work by user is a very dangerous provision. It doesn't require any document. Just imagine. By user means you just have to tell that some 100 years back, 1,000 years back, this particular place was used for some purpose, and then the particular piece of land is declared Waqf property. So we remove that work by user. Henceforth, if any property has to be declared as Waqf property, it must be through a deed of declaration. You can't make oral declaration. So it is compulsory that the property must have document, valid document, registered document, and then only the Waqif, means the one who declares the Waqf, can do it as per his own wish. That is in the provision, it is a new provision we have inserted. Section 3R, subclause 4. Now, any property which are under disputes, like the Munambam case, any property which is under dispute or under legal proceedings, means which is sub judice, cannot be settled as Waqf property. It will be, if it is under legal proceedings, then it will be decided by the court. Of course, we cannot take away the power of the courts, so it will be decided by the courts. But new declaration will not be allowed. Then we had this section 36 1A and section 36 clause 7. The verification of the property has to be done by the collector. I had mentioned earlier, it used to be done by the survey commissioner. The survey commissioners had their own interest. Now it is the district collector who will now see the genuineness of the application or any matter which is in question, and then the Waqf deed is a mandatory provision, and registration of any Waqf requires a valid Waqf deed. Without that, registration cannot happen. Many of the Congress and the communist MPs were saying that why should this authority should be given to the collector? The authority should be remain with the survey commissioner. We were very clear. The survey commissioners, work boards and mutawalis, they all were working in tandem, which caused so much of miseries and pains to the innocent people. So we have categorically stated that collector doesn't belong to anybody. An IAS officer doesn't belong to political party. And in any way, the collectors, he is the revenue officer. He has been dealing with the revenue matter. So that is why the authority should remain with the collector. And then collector will always do justice. Now, we have made another provision that the person who creates Waqif has to be a practicing Islam for at least 5 years. In 2013, the Congress government, the UPA government made this dangerous provision that anybody can create Waqf. If you get yourself converted to Muslim, you create Waqf, and then you can show anything. I mean, there was no check and balance. So we said, as per the Islamic law, as per the Shariat law, if you are dedicating your property in the name of Allah, you can do it. But you can do with the property which you own. You can't just create Waqf property on any piece of land. So these are very strict provisions we have inserted in the new Waqf Act. And then, if there are issues with the tribunals, some of the tribunals, we have changed provisions in the composition of the tribunal also. The appeals against tribunal orders now can be filed before the High Court anytime. As I mentioned earlier, it used to be under special writ petition. It was allowed. Now, anybody can go and file before the High Court. And we have changed the composition of the entire work boards, councils, and the tribunals. I will give you one example. Work disputes can be with anybody. For example, Munambam issue. The fishermen can be Hindus, can be Christians, can be anybody. Now they are saying, the CPM, the Communist Party and Congress people are saying, the Waqf board must be constituting of only Muslims. Now if it is a matter between Muslims, then okay, it can be only Muslims sitting on the board. But dispute can be with anybody. The dispute can be from any religious background. So in the board, we have made provisions that even non-Muslims also can be made member in the board. However, majority will remain with the Muslims. We are not taking away the authority of the Muslims. In the state work boards, majority non-Muslims can be 3. And in the Central Waqf Council, which is headed by me in the present time, we will have maximum 4 non-Muslims. And we are not picking up anybody to put there. We will be putting those people who know the Islamic laws, who are well aware of the provisions and the legalities, an experienced person, the scholars, so that the feedbacks from those scholarly people to be made members in the boards and the council can be of useful. So that is why you can imagine, as a genuine citizen of India, if a dispute arises between parties of different religious background, how can you make the board constituting of only one particular religious group? So that is why we have made it much more inclusive and also broad-based. And then, of course, there will be lots of issues, especially I am going to Munambam this evening. I will be meeting the people, I will be listening to them. Now, some of the issues which I want to highlight is this Munambam issue, which I had gone through briefly, the multiple change of the ownership in the past. But one important issue which I want to highlight is there was this Muhammad Siddiqui said he had transferred a particular property to Farooq College. Now, as per the Islamic law and Islamic practice, once you create a waqf, it cannot be transferred. Now, he has transferred the particular property to the college. Once it is transferred, then that particular property is no more waqf. However, because of the provisions containing there in the old act, the High Court had given a ruling. So now, as a minister, I will not say that the High Court order is redundant. I have to honor the judicial pronouncement. But it is challengeable in the Supreme Court. And I would strongly urge that because of the provisions in the old act, it was disadvantageous to the Munambam people, the fishermen. Now with the existing new act, new provisions, with the supporting provisions which we have made, now it is easily challengeable in the Supreme Court. Because it is sub judice, that is why I am not making direct comment of giving a particular status, because it is in a way sub judice, because there are cases filed in the courts. So the recourse which is available to the innocent farmers, the fishermen, is to approach to the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, after this passing of the new act, we are 100% sure and guaranteed that such Munambam case will not happen again in India. It cannot happen because we have made the provision clear and strong. Nobody should suffer like the way our innocent fishermen of Munambam have suffered. The pains, the agony, the difficulties they've endured for such a long time. Anybody can feel it. After paying the amount, after paying the taxes, they had to suffer so much. So we have made a very stringent provision that nobody else would suffer the way they have suffered. Now I would like to request the state government of Kerala. We are in a federal structure. The spirit of federalism is very clear. We have made the law. As a Minister for Minority Affairs and as the Chairman of the Central Waqf Council, we will issue certain directions and certain suggestions to the state government to carry out certain steps. We are in the process of formulation of the subordinate legislation. When an act is passed, you have to frame the rule. So we are doing it. It is in the process. We would urge the state government to immediately ask the concerned district collector to revisit the entire status which were conducted by the survey commissioner. The district collector must go and re-look into the entire matter to provide justice to the Munambam fishermen. And also state government should support all necessary things to ensure that the justice is given to the innocent farmers. From the central government side, I will provide all documentation and necessary legal and administrative support. And I will also direct my officers to provide all necessary assistance to ensure that the fishermen of the Munambam get their rightful claim and ownership of the lands which belong to them. Because of the politics, innocent people have suffered. During the course of discussion and outside also, I had appealed to the MPs of Kerala, before you oppose the Waqf Amendment Bill, please think about the sufferings and the pains of the 600 families of Munambam. These 600 fishermen have been appealing to everyone. So I told the people of Kerala that please put pressure to the Congress and the Communists, the LDF and the UDF, both the groups. Don't play vote bank politics. Please take a genuine and very rational step. I appealed to them, and in the floor of the House, I also made appeal, ardent appeal to them that please vote and support and ask your conscience. Don't play vote bank politics. Then some of the Congress and the Communist MPs are open. They said Munambam issue is a small issue. They can settle it. Has it been settled? They openly said that no, why minister, you should worry about Munambam case. It's a small matter in Kerala, we will settle it. How can they lie and they dismiss the suffering of the people in such frivolous manner? And then I also told them, forget politics, think about justice. Then many Congress and the Communist MPs are saying that Muslim vote bank is larger, the Christians are smaller. And they even went on to say that the Christians and the Hindus, they don't vote en bloc. They are always divided. The Muslims vote en bloc to them, and that is why they have to protect their vote bank. Then I had warned them, don't treat any community as mere vote bank. And I'm telling to our Muslim brothers and sisters, don't become the vote bank of the Congress party and the communist. Once you become a vote bank, you are treated like commodities. So the Congress and the communists, they said that they care more about the Muslim vote bank. They are, in a way, mistreating the Muslims. If there are poor among the Muslims, who is responsible for that? Who ruled Kerala? Kerala has been ruled alternatively by these two groups, the LDF and UDF, the Congress and the Communist. And in the center, Congress ruled for nearly 60 years. So they are responsible for it. If any community is poor, it is them. So I had made an appeal to the Muslim community also. Don't become the vote bank for the communists and the Congress. The country is suffering. Any society will suffer if you treat the community as vote bank. We are working with an open heart. We want to provide justice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has from the day one said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. We will take everybody along. But they are busy painting BJP, RSS for all wrongdoings. They want to scare the Muslims and the Christians. They want to paint the BJP as a demon. Now, majority of the people in the country are supporting Narendra Modi's leadership. We are in our third term. Globally, people are conferring the Honorable Prime Minister Modi with highest decor, highest awards, recognition. The Reverend Pope had spoken so well about Prime Minister Modi when they met. The entire global community are recognizing the good work of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And these people, they want to scare the people about BJP by spreading all rumors, all fake news, all fake narratives. So Kerala people are not only innocent, but very educated, very learned people. How long these people will misguide the people of Kerala by spreading false narrative and misleading the innocent people? It is time that we must make course correction. Kerala people are educated and they are found everywhere. But I know the situation here, how the central government's all-out efforts are being underutilized by the Kerala government. All major steps taken for the farmers, for the railway projects, the highways, majority of the projects, especially the infrastructure projects, are unutilized. The individual schemes people are getting. Last month when I came from my ministry, Ministry of Minority Affairs, there are lots of welfare schemes for Muslims and the Christians. I am very happy that wherever there is a direct intervention, people are getting benefit. Wherever state government's help is required, people are not getting the benefits. So as a man in charge of the Ministry of Minority Affairs, I assure especially the Muslim and Christian community who are defined as a minority communities in our country. There are 6 minority communities as per the notification: Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and the Parsis. Parsis are the smallest. Only 52,000 Parsis are left in our country. We are making program to enhance the population of the Parsis. So what I want to say is Kerala is a very progressive state, but because of the misgovernance of the both Congress and the communists, majority of the youth are forced to go out of India or elsewhere in search of good job. If there is a smart, educated young people in Kerala, it's because of their hard work. But they are not given proper employment and opportunities in the state, forcing them to go out of the country. Otherwise, Kerala is the most literate state in our country. We are proud of the beauties and the potentials of Kerala state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has come so many times to Kerala, and he has already
End with that statement.
yes. So I will, my colleague who was earlier minister in the central government and made the president of the Kerala BJP, under his leadership and all our efficient leaders sitting here, we will assure you that whatever the Kerala people deserve, we will fulfill their rightful, whatever they deserve, we are going to provide everything, whatever is possible. And I will come back again, and on this Munambam issue, I am going to meet the farmers, the fishermen, and then till the end, we will follow up. We will ensure that they get the justice. So, I'm happy that you all have come. I think most of the cases I have covered. I don't want to make it very lengthy by talking so many provisions in the Act, because I want to confine it to the relevant provisions for the state of Kerala, particularly the Munambam issue. Thank you very much.
ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രിയോട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ
Mr. Riju, would you please clarify that you have already said that the Burma people will have to appeal to the Supreme Court. Currently, the matter is pending before the tribunal. Again, the petitions are pending before the High Court.
The review is only related to High Court. If High Court passes an order, that order can be challenged.
The question of whether the Burma property is a Waqf or not has been disputed before the tribunal.
Yes.
So that matter is pending before the tribunal.
Yeah.
So how can a resident of the Munambam bypass all the legal procedures and go straight to Supreme Court?
You have to make it very clear. If the matter is with the tribunal will be reconstituted now. The state Waqf boards and the tribunals will be reconstituted because we have changed the composition. Earlier only Muslims can be there. So now tribunal, there will be 3-member tribunal, and both sitting district judge and the retired judge can be member of the tribunals. So the tribunal will be reconstituted and the state Waqf boards will be reconstituted. Anything pending with the tribunal can be reappealed. What I referred is if High Court has, because there is a ruling of the High Court. So the High Court order can be challenged in the Supreme Court.
Currently the matter is pending before the tribunal. You can't just take, you can't
No.
constitute the tribunal and take it away from that.
That is why I am making it very clear that Supreme Court case was in reference to the High Court. There was observation of the High Court about the status of whether there is a Waqf or not.
That question is being currently tried by the tribunal.
High Court order cannot be reversed by the tribunal. With regards to the status,
What you are mentioning too is just a passing reference that was passed by the bench.
Yeah.
And the question of whether it's a tribunal or not didn't come up before the...
yeah, that I have made it clear. No? Tribunal will be reconstituted. So I will also pass a direction from the central government. There is a provision that I will tell you the provision number. There is a provision in the Act where central government, I can pass a direction to the state Waqf board and state government to act in a particular manner. I just forgot the section 9. Section 9. Yeah.
1 second. ഞാൻ ക്ലാരിഫൈ ആയിട്ട് മിനിസ്റ്റർ പറഞ്ഞത് in the event there is an adverse order in the High Court, you do not have to only rely on a narrow writ jurisdiction to go to any appeals court. Here you have the right to appeal.
No, that was not what he said.
No, I'm
That's not what he said.
no.
He asked you.
What is the controversy? What is the point you're making?
No, my question is very clear.
Yeah.
Since the matter Munambam issue is pending before the Waqf tribunal, 2 questions are being tried before the tribunal. That is, enlisting the Munambam property as a Waqf property by the board is questioned, and the registration of the Waqf property has been questioned.
Right.
So naturally, the appeal lies with the High Court.
Yeah.
And then even after completing the High Court procedure, only you can go to the Supreme Court.
Correct.
That is why I said.
You can't go straight to the Supreme Court, right?
I have made it very clear. Since the tribunals and the boards will be reconstituted because we have changed the composition, So, after if a person doesn't get justice from the tribunal, the appeal to the High Court is open. If you remember what I have said. Earlier, the appeal was restricted.
The review.
Review is, it's a writ. Review is not about changing of the status. It's about the question of law only. The High Court can decide only on the question of law. And ordinary people cannot go for review. So now, first of all, the appeal has been made very clear. Anybody can make appeal, number one. Because I have seen there was a passing remark by the High Court. Since High Court has made a passing remark, the tribunals cannot reverse any High Court order or order. Yeah. These days, this oral observation leads to the judgment. Yeah. That is why I'm saying, if they have to go up to the Supreme Court, we are ready to assist.
So that
Yeah.
means they will have to take the legal recourse.
No. Right now, we have changed the entire provisions.
But
If you go back.
at the same time, the amendment says that those petitions or those cases which are currently being tried or in dispute, the status will not be. That is very clear in the amendment.
Because you cannot take away the matter which is sub judice. That is very clear.
I concur with
Yeah.
you. There is a provision in the 25 amendment saying that those cases that are pending before the court or any other tribunal will continue.
Yeah.
So that you are agreeing to that. So that means
It is not a question of agreeing. You can't take away the right.
so that the only recourse that is currently available to the residents of Minimum is to fight the case in the court.
Yeah, you have to have the legal basis to fight in the court. Now the provisions are in favor of them.
No, but it's up to the court to decide.
Of course, we can't take over the right of the court, no?
Law.
That is, and again they have to go to the tribunal and the High Court.
No, what is the point? Yes, we are agreeing. I am agreeing.
That means the 2025 amendments has in no way benefited the residents of Minimum.
How can you say that?
Fight it out in the court.
No, that is your judgment.
No, because since you know that the Minimum matter has been pending for long, that provision of fighting the case in the court is not overruled.
Technically, what you are saying is right, because we cannot take away any matter which is sub judice. That's the reality.
No law, when it's passed by Parliament, can say that a process that is sub judice comes to an end.
You can
The
make
law can be used by those. So therefore, no, your characterization is wrong that it does not help the
Yeah.
people of Minimum. When the law is no, you just said that.
No, I said that as of now, even now, the Minimum residents will have to fight it out in the court.
No.
What is a legal dispute remains a legal dispute, excepting the law is in the favor of those who are fighting the case.
That is up to the court to decide.
No, you are supporting the position, but you are just saying that, or you are expecting that Parliament should pass a law to settle all the cases.
Is there a shortcut to the residents of Minimum to get justice?
No, the provisions are conducive to them. I have explained in detail. It will help them. If we have not changed the provisions, if we had let it remain so, then they have no any other course.
Currently, the case is being tried before the tribunal. And you have said that you are going to change the tribunal constitution and retired district judges can also become the tribunal member. So will it in any way affect the case that is being held? Right?
It will help them, and when they get the help, you also
How is it going to help them?
you will be happy to see that it will help. And as a matter of fact, if we had not taken this step, the door was closed for them.
Could you kindly explain to me how the reconstitution of the Waqf board or the tribunal is going to help the residents?
Because we had changed the provisions. Now,
So how is it going to work for them?
this way, you can't explain it this way. This is not a courtroom.
No, one second. No. I understand that there is a propaganda that has been spread and it is also impact. No. One second. Let me speak. Please give me some. There is a case. There is an ongoing dispute. As the minister said, the law that has been passed by the Parliament shows the intent of Parliament vis-a-vis any attempt by the Waqf board to seize private property. The law is clear. The minister has also made clear that in future there will be no repeat. Nobody will have to go bow their heads in front of any Waqf board or any Muslim league in the future. Now, insofar as this dispute is concerned, every court that is adjudicating a dispute, including the Munambam dispute, is aware of what the law is. You are right. If a judge decides to go rogue and say we will ignore the law, that is a dispute. No. But let me finish. I have greatest respect for your knowledge on this. A legal dispute, wherever it is in whatever domain, will not be overturned. When the matter is sub judice in a court, there is no power, nothing that the parliament can do to shortcut, to use your phrase, an existing legal dispute. That is that adjudicating body's responsibility and authority to preside over that adjudication. In this particular case, it is the tribunal and the High Court. However, the tribunal and the High Court, as the Honourable Minister has said, the tribunal will be reconstituted to be much more neutral, much more understanding of the law. And second of all, in any court, if there is an attempt to misread or ignore the law that has been passed by the Parliament, the government has at every occasion the ability to implead and clarify what the law is. But to answer your question, is there a magic wand? There was not. Are the people of Munambam closer to a resolution of a dispute in their favor? Yes.
So, Mike, one more question. Since the question that is being tried before the tribunal is based on the 1995 regulation, 1995
Law.
1995 Waqf Act, and it is being tried there. And the government has been brought in a new amendment 2025. So what will be the law applicable to a case that is pending there? Will the law has a retrospective effect, and will 2025 law will become applicable to an offence that happened before the enactment of the law?
Yeah, the retrospective issue is already well explained. Of course, retrospective, in a sense, when the title is clear, there's no question of retrospective effect, right? A settled case is settled case. But Munambam case is not a settled case.
So the Munambam, what I'm asking is, will the Munambam case that is currently pending before the tribunal will be tried by the 2025 legislation or 1995?
Of course, 2025, and that is why I said...
No, but what is the law prevailing at the time of the commission of the offence or a wrong act? That should apply.
At the time of the matter which had gone to the tribunal, they had gone as per the 1995 Act.
So there will be a retrospective.
And now, in such cases, it will have a retrospective effect because now the collector will have to go and revisit
The survey and all that.
everything, because when you go and look back into the issue which you feel must have a revisit, you must. And I can assure you, without going to, because I can well appreciate your inquisitive and your eagerness to know, it is understandable because justice, if it is delayed, justice denied. So this kind of feelings are natural. But I can assure you that the fishermen of Munambam will be protected.
One more question.
Yes.
Section 3 of the 2025 Act. So one final question. Section 3 of the amendment says that all trusts will be taken out of the purview of the Act. That was basically for Bora Muslims and that other community. Will
Anybody, no, not for Boras. Any Muslim.
will the section, in your reading, will the section 3 be applicable to the Munambam because it is a registered deed?
First of all, we have given freedom to every Muslim to run his property either through Waqf or through trust. And trust is mentioned. Society is not mentioned. As I mentioned once during the briefing that if the property, the Waqf, has dedicated a property and if it is transferred, then it loses the title, the status as Waqf, because Waqf property cannot be transferred. That is why I deliberately mention it, that this point can be taken up, because because you have three reasons or three purposes for which a Waqf is declared. If the property is transferred, which is not permissible, then it loses its status. These are some of the points. But this is not a court, so I'm not arguing in that manner. I'm just giving the provisions. Yeah.
You should be well aware of the procedures.
That's why I'm saying. So I can't speak like a advocate here because I have to address the larger issue. So when I said that the interest of the Monambam fishermen will be protected, you take my word in that way. And then how to do it, it is a process. You can't decide a case. Since you have made a law, this case will be settled. And in a press conference, I point out a particular provision and then say that this is settled. It doesn't work like that. There's a process and there is a culmination of so many provisions which assist and which makes the things easier for particular case. So that is how I put it. If I start declaring now, this has done, this will be done. That is, it doesn't work. But since you made a relevant point, so we are asking and also, seeking the advice from everybody. We are meeting so many people. We will be taking the call after, meeting all stakeholders. I am open to all suggestions.
Sri Manorma.
Huh.
Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said that she won't implement the Waqf law, new law in Bihar. What is your take on that? And next one, your minority affairs minister. In so many.
What did Mamata Banerjee say?
New Waqf
Will not be implemented in Bengal.
law will not be implemented in.
How? You tell me how?
The central legislation.
Huh? Exactly. She is holding a constitutional position. Chief Minister is a constitutional post. Law made by the parliament is constitutional. Can a person sitting in a constitutional post declare that she will be unconstitutional or she will not follow anything which is constitutional?
Will the states be free to frame their own rules, subordinate rules?
Subordinate legislation will be formed by we will make a broad line. Then
You will give a guidelines?
yes, the rule is to be followed. Now very soon we will come out with the rules and then state government will follow.
And the government of India has the power to give directions to the state.
Yeah.
Vijay, one more question. In certain BJP ruled states, Christian minorities are targeted and.
No, government don't get into this. How can government target any community?
Some anti-social elements.
If anything is doing unlawful act, the law will catch them.
Sir, in West Bengal, the protest against the current laws of autonomy has ended with violent there has been reports that many of the Hindu families has been specifically targeted with that violence. Many have lost, about 350 persons has lost their life. Do you think that any anti-national groups or any extremist group is playing any role in turning this kind of protest?
Well, I don't know about the involvement of the anti-national elements or some of the anti-social elements. But what is so disturbing is the Chief Minister is visibly inciting the violence. If Chief Minister herself is telling the people to protest, if Chief Minister is telling that she will not follow the act passed by the Parliament, this amounts to inciting violence. Remember, law and order is a state subject. Now the Chief Minister who is in charge of the law and order incites violence. It is trouble for himself or herself. After all, she has to contain and maintain the law and order.
Government having any plans to introduce the Church Act?
There is no such proposal. Who told you?
No church. So recently that
There was, for your information, when Mother Teresa wanted to come to Arunachal Pradesh in 70s, the then Congress government prohibited. She was banned. So this was the first case due to Congress government, they banned the entry of Mother Teresa. Later on, there was no instances anywhere that anybody is banned or any particular act is passed against targeting any community or any group.
How do you see the support put forward by the Catholic Church in India towards the current Waqf amendment? Because
No, I'm very happy that the church leaders have supported this particular act. When the bill was being piloted, numerous church organizations made an appeal to the political parties to support the Waqf Amendment Bill.
Recently, the organizer came out with a news article saying that the Christian church had the largest property will bid them.
Who said?
The organizer.
I've already
The
answered.
organizer. And they have the largest property, and most of which were, acquired during the period of the British. And since there is no particular law governing the church-owned property, so in that context, isn't it the Church Act quite relevant to India?
I will be responding to you, but the thing is, we have to give chance to others also. Otherwise, they will mind you that you have taken all the space.
The desired headline we are not going to get from this. Indo,
No, you can't authorize like that.
taken and heard and answered. As your question.
Yeah. No, he can't take away her right, no?
They clearly mentioned in the deed that it is a deed and it is transferred to this Farukol for the education purpose.
Yeah.
And otherwise, they will not use it their education purpose. It will be back me.
That is a conditional agreement.
That is, there is a conditional agreement.
Yeah.
He write down it's in the name of government. That's only the word is mentioned as government. And after that, these kind of transferring, like in between Farouk College and this people also. And it is clearly that it's not, as per the deed, it is clear that it's not the land of God.
Yeah. No, that is, you,
Why should we this kind of dispute?
yeah, no,
And one more question is
yeah.
that, how this amendment is and like this kind of issue?
No, you pointed out the thing which I had slightly touched upon. When you create a waqf, it is for the purpose of religious, pious or charitable cause, right? Now here, for education purpose, the land was given. That is a reason, that is for charitable, for education purpose. And if the particular land is not used for the purpose of which it was created, then it ceases to be work property because you have violated the will. So you are right, and also then it will change the status. This and also the matter which I mentioned, the transfer of the property. Once you give land to somebody in the name of Allah, you create a waqf, you can't transfer it. So these are important factors. I believe that the state government and nobody had assisted the Munambam people earlier, which led to this mess. They have got enough
Okay.
reason.
Already നമ്മുടെ
Clearly mentioned that it is used for education purposes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be back.
Yes.
And by us, not to what.
It's a very strong reason. What you pointed out is a very strong reason. That is why I mentioned it.
ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി നമുക്ക്
No, don't dilute it.
അല്ല നമ്മൾ ഒത്തിരി അല്ല ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി ഇന്ന് ഒത്തിരി ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉത്തരം
One
നൽകി.
second.
അപ്പോൾ
So much like in Tamil Nadu as well, just 2 days back, there were about 150 villages in Anaikatti district where about 150 families were living for almost over 4 generations. Their lands have now been, they've been issued a notice saying their lands are now belonging to the Waqf properties. We're seeing several other such cases that are also coming up. How, from the center and leading the entire Waqf amendment, how are you going to navigate through all of this? Number one. Number two, how are you going to say, give an assurance to set people in this manner, even though provisions have been made, provided?
Yeah, so when I piloted the bill in the last year, I had mentioned this in detail. This time, because enough was deliberated in the JPC, in the House, so I did not mention about these cases. These cases and many more such cases have, piled up so much. So that is why I did not cite the names. In some of the instances, the Waqf board on its own unilaterally declared a particular place, location or village as Waqf property. It's bizarre to see that even 2-3 organizations claim that Parliament of India is a Waqf property. Then another Muslim gentleman and a group declared that 1/3 of Delhi is Waqf property. Now, there may be a Muslim ruler, there may be English ruler, but that doesn't make the whole territory their property. So this kind of, unlimited, that kind of a claim which has come to the fore. Now the restriction is, number one, henceforth, no such claim can be made because the provision is very clear. The section 40 itself has been removed. So the arbitrary claim made by the work boards are gone. Secondly, you can make a claim, you can declare only on the matter which you have complete ownership with document, deed, everything. So we have crystallized the entire thing so that the misuse and misclaim cannot be done. Well, Tamil Nadu, there are multiple instances which had come before us. And then, of course, in Delhi itself, in 2013, when this provision was inserted, work by user, then 123 properties were declared as work property. This contention was pending before the court. And then the case came to the fore in 1970s. No government took any kind of decision. Even after 1995 Waqf Act, there was no decision and the court was hearing it. Suddenly 2013 amendment came and immediately just few days before the election, the UPA government denotified all the 123 properties and declared it as Waqf properties. Thankfully, our government came to power and the whole thing was checked. Just imagine, Lodi Korodi, if you have gone to Delhi, those CGO complex, the whole building. My office is also there, Minority Affairs Ministry. My ministry would have been gone as work property. Can you imagine? So we had done such a thing. In the years to come, the poor people will thank us. Particularly the poor Muslims, the women, the backward communities within Muslim communities are pouring in, coming to me and thanking. They're thanking the Prime Minister actually for bringing this kind of a huge relief. Otherwise, how many people would further lose their lands? You can't imagine. Anyway, thank you very much.
I'll just add one point to your question.
But before that, I was discussing about the Kerala issue with my colleagues. I must say one thing. I'm not referring to other people. I'm referring to the political class. In terms of creating narratives, you can't beat the leftist and the Congress. They are extremely mastered in poisoning the minds of the people. The Congress party has poisoned the innocent minds of the society. And the communist agenda is very clear. They want to make everybody beggars. Wherever the communist party are in power, people drastically lose their wealth, income, and they become dependent. So the communist party wants to make people beggars. They want people to beg for everything. And the Congress party is busy poisoning the people of the country. In Northeast alone, before I got elected as a member of parliament 2 decades back, the Congress party poisoned the minds of the people so much that many people thought that BJP is anti-Christian and anti-Muslim. Now people have realized it is the Congress party who have poisoned their mind, and they were the people who work against the communities. Now the Christian communities in my place, they are enjoying. Nobody is coming under any kind of restrictions and all. So we're a secular nation. Our constitution is secular. Merely holding Indian flag or constitution book will not do. You have to live with the spirit of the constitution and truly respect the Indian flag. The Kerala, some of the people unfortunately I'm not blaming the entire community, but the radicals among the Muslims are given space in Kerala. The radical elements, some of the extremist elements are getting refuge in Kerala. The innocent Muslims will be unnecessarily blamed. Because not every Muslim is extremist, but few of them are polluting the society. So let us make sure that this communist agenda and Congress agenda doesn't get any approval by the people of Kerala. And we will assure that BJP, our group, NDA, will ensure that the true governance will come to Kerala very soon.
എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി. ഭക്ഷണം ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് മറൈൻ ഹോട്ടലിലെ
Hajj quota is,
ഇന്ത്യയുടെ മീറ്റിംഗ് കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്.
hey, just one second, targeted to Muslim alone. There are some campaign going on to set a narrative that the central government is working against. We had agreed on 1,75,000 Hajj quotas this year. In 2013, we had only 1,30,000 quotas, which because of Prime Minister's effort, we increased the Hajj quota with the support of the Saudi government. This year, we have conducted same as last year. 52,704 are given to the combined Hajj operators, these private tour operators. And rest are with the Hajj Committee of India. I had visited Saudi Arabia 2 months back, and then we had settled everything. I have seen the arrangement, everything. So the quota which has been offered to the private operators, they were given the timeline. There was last date given by the Saudi authority. Saudi authorities had changed certain norms, stipulations and conditions that are well known. On the last date, when the payment is to be made, the tour operators could not make the payment. They thought that this year also will be like last year. But the Saudis had made it very clear that you have to make payment on particular date as a last date. So our private tour operators could not make the payment. Thereby, they cancelled this space in Mina. And that led to some panic. Then I intervened. I had the video conferencing meeting with my counterpart, the Minister for Hajj and Umrah of Saudi Arab. And then I made a request that, yes, there are mistakes from our tour operators. However, please consider to revive some quotas which are allocated to the private tour operators. Then he accepted and assured to look into the matter, and 10,000 seats are revived. We had requested the tour operators, let us not lose more quotas. So 10,000 allotted to us. Payments are, I think, under consideration now. Payments are being made. And then remaining quotas, which is being reported as Saudis have cut our quotas. It is not only India. I sent my secretary just 3-4 days back. During the discussion of my secretary, Minority Affairs, and the Vice Minister of Hajj and Umrah in Saudi Arab, during the discussion, my secretary was informed that the quota is reduced not only for India, it is for all the countries, majority of countries. Because last year there were large numbers of deaths. Because during the Hajj, the temperature goes up to 55 degrees Celsius and the feel like is above 70 degrees Celsius because of extremely humid and hot condition. So many lives are lost. So please don't get into this news that Saudi has cut our quota.
लोग जीते थे और बाद में यह मंद पड़ता गया और अंततः ब्रिटिशर ने फिर अत्याचार की पराकाष्ठा की और जिसका एक उदाहरण आपके सामने महाराजा नरपत सिंह का यह दुर्ग भी है जो खंडरों में तब्दील होकर के आज वहां पर एक टीले के रूप में मात्र बचा हुआ है। मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा और आभारी हूं केंद्रीय मंत्री और उस समय के उत्तर प्रदेश के निवर्तमान मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी को, उस समय के सांसद श्री जयप्रकाश रावत जी को, जिन्होंने महाराजा नरपत सिंह ग्रेकवार का यह भव्य स्मारक यहां पर खड़ा किया। मैं सबसे पहले देश के प्रथम स्वतंत्र समर के अमर सेनानी, भारत माता के महान सपूत राजा नरपत सिंह की इस पावन धरा को नमन करते हुए